My first question is from Nicole. She says, I stink at following up with leads and always feel so awkward. I would love to hear your ideas and guidance on this. And for my answer, as usual, I didn't memorize it. I was actually on an airplane yesterday coming home from visiting my family in California. So while I was on the airplane, I just thought a little bit about my answer to that question, and then I wrote it down in the notes section on my phone, and so I'm just going to be reading it off of that. So how to not feel awkward, advice for not feeling awkward when following up with leads. And what I said was, stop focusing so much on yourself, because when you're looking inwardly and when you're so worried about not being awkward or not saying the right thing, and all of that, you're going to feel a lot more pressure when that's your focus. Instead, shift your focus to the client that you're following up with and focus on really serving them to the fullest. Focus on finding out exactly what it is that this client needs, and meeting that need, and gosh, what was the saying? I can't remember exactly how it was said, but sell like a millionaire who doesn't need the money, or something like that. So basically, don't sell like you're desperate. Don't sound like you're desperate. Really just focus on them and meeting their needs, and ask them questions instead of having the pressure to give them some sort of sales pitch and sell yourself. Just focus on asking them questions and make it all about them. And think of the client as an onion. I don't know why I said that. Think of the client as an onion, and you have to peel all the layers off. Instead of focusing on making them like you, focus on making them feel good about themselves and making them feel taken care of and like their real estate needs are all getting met. And yeah, and when you do this, they naturally will want to work with you, because that's just a natural byproduct. So instead of focusing on selling yourself to them and really feeling that pressure, just focus on meeting their needs and getting them from point A to point B. So I hope that answered your question. My next question was, if I can find it. My next question was from Katie. Katie, thank you for your question. And it was, what do you say to a for sale by owner when you decide to just drive directly to their house and knock on their door instead of calling first? So I knock on the door with my business card and some sort of information with me. I prefer to have it all in a Berkshire Hathaway branded folder, all of the information that I bring. But if I don't have one with me, if I don't have a folder with me, I just leave the papers that I am bringing. And of course my business card. And when they answer the door, I keep it short and sweet and get right to the point. I normally say something to the effect, this is the script that I use, or something to the effect of this. Hi, I'm Mariah with Berkshire Hathaway. I just wanted to stop by and introduce myself as a local resource. If you have any questions about the home selling process, feel free to give me a call anytime. Boom, period, that's it. So half of the time, a few points I wanted to make sure y'all know. About half of the time, nobody's going to come to the door. So I just leave. So what I do when no one comes to the door and no one's home, or just no one wants to answer the door for me, what I do in that case is I leave the same information at the door, but on top of the information, I leave a little sticky note with that exact script. Hi, I'm Mariah with Berkshire Hathaway. I just wanted to introduce myself as a local resource, blah, blah, blah. So I say what I would have said when they answered the door. I just write it out on a sticky note and leave that on top of the information that I'm leaving. When they are home, sometimes they're nice. Sometimes they're pissed that you're there and they're rude. But most of the time they're not rude, but seem like they're, they also don't really want to talk to you. They're kind of in the middle of something. And I mean, you have to put things into perspective. You did kind of just knock on their door unannounced in the middle of the day, so you can't really expect them to want to talk to you forever. Sometimes they do, but where was I? Most of the time they aren't rude, but they're in the middle of something and are pretty rushed, like they don't want to stay and talk forever. So I just give them the information and then head on my way and say goodbye. You don't know what kind of day they're having or what thing they were in the middle of doing when you knocked on the door. So don't let that discourage you or stop you from following up with them, because that means absolutely nothing. What they say to you, the mood they're in, how they treat you, whatever, when they come to the door, that means absolutely nothing, and it has absolutely nothing to do with you. So do not take it personally. So the last thing I want to say is that you have to know, you're not going to get the listing when you knock on the door and introduce yourself. That is simply step one. And that's step one to a really long process of following up and being persistent. Of course, always have a listing agreement with you, and I think that you should always expect the best case scenario to happen in any situation we're in, but don't get discouraged if you don't get the listing when you drive there and knock on the door for the first time, because like I said, that is simply step one. So I hope that answered your question, and if you would like to see my entire 5-step process from start to finish of how I list for sale by owners from when I first meet them to when I get the listing, I will link the video to that in the description below. So what else did I have to say? So yeah, that is really it. Those are the only 2 questions I'm going to answer today. Feel free to keep sending me your questions, whether they are real estate related or not. Feel free to leave those in the comments below, or just reach out to me somehow, some way. I love answering your guys' questions and talking to you and talking to other realtors and hearing like what's working for you guys and just sharing information. So thank you so much for watching. If you are a realtor and you live outside of the state of Oregon, please send your clients that are moving to Oregon my way. I would love to give you a referral fee. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything. And I will see you guys in my next video.